We have a lot going on in the world of Warcraft. We have new incoming patches that are going to be happening, new balancing that's going to be happening. But one thing that we do know right now, what we have happening is going to be some incoming buffs, some incoming nerfs. So we're going to listen to a little bit of Kelani, give us a little bit of some information on this.
This is
Let's get into
Kalani.
it.
It's been a busy week in World of Warcraft. The Midnight pre-patch just went live, and as you might expect, there have been a few bumps along the way, so we have quite a few hotfixes to go over for the new patch. We have another round of class changes, buffs, and nerfs to look at, including some huge nerfs to Unholy Death Knights, and hybrid specs will see some big buffs to their major heals. We have more changes coming through for the updated transmog system, including a massive reduction in overall gold costs.
There you go.
And there are some very cool new...
I would like it if it was a little bit more intuitive. Hey, how you doing, Zoro? I think that it would be best if we had a little bit more information on how the transmog is supposed to work in general. I haven't had that easy of a time trying to get things to, you know, like when you're trying to change, I guess maybe you don't get done with the other transmog you're doing, but it says like you have things pending. And so that kind of feels odd to me. What are these mounts for?
Rewards coming our way during the Lunar Festival event. There's a lot to talk about, so let's break it all down in this week's WoW News video. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. To kick things off this week, we have quite a lot of hotfixes for the live game, including some huge nerfs for Unholy Death Knights, some significant changes to the Mage Tower challenges, and a handful of other bug fixes. For the Unholy nerfs, Rider of the Apocalypse Horseman damage has been reduced by 50%, Trollbane's Icy Fury damage is up 100%, Lesser Ghoul and Pet Ghoul Sweeping Claw main target damage was reduced by 50%, Lesser Ghoul and Pet Ghoul melee damage was reduced by 50%, Death Coil saw a 30% damage nerf, Scourge Strike damage is down 30%, Infected Claws caught a 50% damage nerf, and Putrefy main target damage is down 30%. Morbidity now increases the damage taken by 1% per disease on the target, down from 2%. Raise Abomination disease cloud effect was reduced down to 10%. Epidemic damage was buffed up by 25%, and then Clawing Shadows chain damage penalty
Who here
was
plays
reduced
Unholy?
to 15%.
Any of
down
you guys
from
play Unholy?
25%. I guess Unholy Death Knight must have been a major outlier
Anybody play Unholy?
in pre-patch because no other class or spec has seen significant changes on the live.
So is it needing all of these changes to it? Like, have you been feeling overpowered? The imbalance is wrong.
Game. If you're curious about the other hotfixes this week, the Mage Tower must have...
They do stupid damage. They're OP. Oh, okay. All right. Well then, because that, you know what? Honestly, I haven't had a chance. We've been running a lot of dungeons, have we not? We've been killing it when we run dungeons. One thing I don't see a lot of is Unholy.
Been a touch easy for the first few days of the patch because almost every challenge is seeing some form of buff. So for Closing the Eye, an impossible foe, and the God Queen's Fury, all enemies...
Okay, so I tried Mage Tower before it was broke there for a minute. Apparently Blizzard knew this and was able to fix it. But are these developer notes, are these things that they are going to be making sure that we have in the future? Update now live or adjusting enemy health? Yeah, it could have been just was a hotfix because it was broke when the pre-patch was dropped. So I think it's just going back to where it was.
Enemy health has been increased by 20 or 15%. For Fell Totem's Fall,
I want to get the
20% except for
Werebear
Disciplined Priests, and then Thwarting the Twins and the High Lord's Return saw some health increases as well. I also saw quite a lot of complaints about the new Training Grounds PvP feature, mainly that the new NPC opponents were absolutely trucking players, and some were even one-shotting their targets.
How is that? You go in thinking that you're going to have an easy time against the AI, and they fucking slaughter you, dude. I mean, that's got to be fucking rich right there. I love it.
That should hopefully be fixed with a hotfix that just adjusted the effectiveness of the Training Grounds opponent.
So they got to dumb it down a little bit because either they're damaged or they were just too smart for the noobs.
So fingers crossed that's an adjustment downwards, and now you won't get one shot if you hop into what is supposed to be some easy NPC-based PvP.
I don't think it should be easy, though. I think it should be challenging. You know, if you don't want to be trolled by actual players that are doing PvP because they are gaming the system, then go into one of these challenges and maybe just pick the pick the difficulty level.
All of these updates are hotfixes, so they should be in the live game already. I imagine we'll see many more updates as more bugs and issues in pre-patch are found and then squashed.
No, okay, I agree they shouldn't be one-shotting, but I think when it comes to you playing an AI part of the game, I think they should be able to come up with a real strategy and make you, like, you know, when you're playing chess online and you're not playing against another person, you're playing against the computer, they're not going to let you win. You have to actually give it effort. You got to actually think. Have you ever played chess online? I think Swifty used to play that shit online. Fucking good stuff right there. I want a challenge. I don't want to roll shit over.
Now, even though the Midnight pre-patch introduced the huge class overhauls and reworks for the expansion in general, the Midnight beta is still being updated with numbers, tuning, and adjustments, and there are some significant buffs and nerfs for the 12.0.1 update this week. For Death Knights, Unholy will see even more adjustments, Necromancer's Cunning Explosion damage will see a 100% buff, Virulent Plague damage is up.
Hold on. Hold up fucking phone. At the beginning of this thing, Unholy was getting nerfed. Now it's saying that they're getting a whole bunch of damage increases. That's just balancing.
15%. Clawing Shadows now reduces the damage of each subsequent chain of Scourge Strike by 20%, down from 25%, and Super Strain now causes Dread Plague to deal.
Make it make sense, chat. I mean, I'm not the brightest or the sharpest tool in the shed. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. But this thing literally has all damage increased 100%, 15%, 20%. Well, maybe that's a little bit of a thing, but anyways, is going up. Dread Plague to deal 75% of the damage nearby, and it was 50. So like 3 out of the 4 of these things are all going to be buffs.
75% of its damage to a nearby enemy, up from 50%. Devourer Demon Hunters have a huge update to how one of their main abilities, Collapsing Star, will work. To cast Collapsing Star, you need to collect a certain number of souls.
Have you guys leveled up a Void Elf and tried Devourer at all? I haven't. I didn't even make one yet, but I'm just curious.
In Void Metamorphosis, but you would actually lose or spend those souls at the start of your cast. So if the target died, or you moved accidentally, or you just cancelled the cast in any other way, you would essentially lose that entire cast of Collapsing Star, which is a huge damage loss. Going forward, your souls will only be spent when the cast finishes, so you can cancel it to move, or use it again if your target dies before the cast goes off. But Collapsing Star will now have a 5-second cooldown to prevent potential abuse of the slower fuel.
Correct. So, like you're saying, Xantral, as I was making groups this weekend, I noticed that I was being told by other party members that they're not correctly gearing the character, or they're not gearing correctly for their spec because they need intellect, and they were still wearing Agi. So you don't want that when you're trying to do big dam in 17-18. I mean, I know right now we feel like we're a little OP, but these guys are thinking that they could just change specs, use the same gear, and come in and do big dam. Most of the time when I heard that Devourer was being played, they were hitting like wet noodles. But besides that, I still found that DH, maybe as a whole, they felt really squishy. When I was having to heal them, I felt they were soaking up a lot of the heals. It could be because they weren't hitting the defensives as much, but even when they had them up, it felt like they were still a little on the uneven side when incoming damage was going off.
Fury drain during the Collapsing Star cast. All in all, this should make the ability much easier to use, and as a little extra added on top, Collapsing Star will now generate 50% less threat. Moving on to the druids, Wildstalker has quite a few updates. Bloodseeker vines grow at an increased rate when multiple targets are afflicted by your bleed. Rampancy causes bursting growth to have a 30% chance to trigger, up from 20%. Patient Custodian increases bleed damage by 8%, up from 6%. And there's a bug fix for Patient Custodian as well. For balance, Meteorite's damage will see a 10% nerf, Power of Galdron damage is up 25%, Denizen of the Dream damage saw a 40% increase, Solar Bolt damage is up 40%, Lunar Bolt damage got a 20% buff, Wrath and Starfire damage were both increased by 20%, and they'll also see a 6% buff across the board on top of all of that. Wild Growth Healing and Rejuvenation Healing are also up 30%.
That is one class that I've not done. Is balance at all. I tried to level it. I didn't do very well. I think I boosted it the rest of the way, or I just went to feral. So I mean, yeah, that's one thing. But also when we're doing groups, have you guys been seeing a lot of feral druids at all in the groups on the LFG or even in your raids? Now that is a class that has just fallen off the map to me. Once you master it, you will own as a balanced druid.
So lots of buffs for Balanced Druid coming soon. And then for Feral, Focused Frenzy increases the damage of Feral Frenzy by 20%, down from 40%. Catform Swipe damage is up 20%. There's an 8% buff across the board to look forward to, and then both Wild Growth and Rejuvenation Healing are getting doubled for Feral specifically. Evokers are up next. Fire Breath's total damage should now be more consistent, and Panacea Healing is being increased by 60%. For augmentation, Ebon Might can no longer be aura cancelled. Ebon Might extension range now matches Ebon Might's application range. Sense Power now dynamically updates its duration if a cooldown is extended. Sense Power and Prescience have been updated to correctly detect all major throughput cooldowns and will no longer activate on tank or healer specialization.
I started leveling before they made the major changes to augmentation, where they no longer could buff healers and the tanks. I was doing all the homework. I was looking at the YouTube videos. I was looking at what the value weights would be, and then that came through. I was like, oh no! And they basically killed them for 2 seasons, if not more. And then now they're coming back up. They're not in the same form that they once were, but they're definitely something of a class that's going to be looked at for midnight.
So using those as a smart cast should be a bit better overall. And then Verdant Embrace and Emerald Blossom Healing were both increased by 50%. Devastation will actually see the exact same healing buffs, not the most exciting thing in the world for a DPS spec, but at least you'll be able to keep yourself alive that little bit easier. Mages have just one quick change this week. For Frost, your icicles will now be hidden when out of combat and reappear when you enter combat, which...
Hey, there you go. That's a nice little, immersion thing. Like, why would you be walking down the street and you got a bunch of icicles following you over your head?
Seems like a very small thing, but I'm actually looking forward to this change quite a bit. Moving on to the monks, Windwalker has a lot of buffs coming down the pipeline. Fists of Fury damage is up 10%, Rising Sun Kick will see a 20% buff, Spinning Crane Kick saw a 50% increase, Jade Fire Stomp is up 25%, Flurry of Zuen is up 40%, Airborne Rhythm generates 1 less chi, Rushing Wind Kick no longer has a chi cost, Sunfire Spiral now increases your mastery by 40% up from 20%, and Universal Energy increases magic damage done by 8% down from 15%. Memory of the Monastery now increases Combo Breaker's effect chance by 75% up from 25% and increases Tiger Palm damage by 30% up from 15%. Communion with Wind damage bonuses were doubled up to 20%. Tiger Eye Brew has been updated. Vivify Healing was increased by 100%. It will be reduced less in PvP, and Expel Harm will see a 30% buff. For the Paladins, Holy will see quite a few...
Okay, they must have missed something. I don't think he covered it all, because I believe as Hellraiser has proven that Brewmasters need to be nerfed a little bit. That damage is insane as a tank. I don't understand it. I understand hitting buttons is a thing, but damn, that was some good damage that you were doing.
Adjustments as well. Light of Dawn.
Oh, here's gonna be my next my next class for midnight.
Healing effect is now capped at 5 targets, but its healing was increased by 10%. Liberation now causes 12% of Word of Glory and Light of Dawn's healing to be transferred into damage. Beacon of the Savior now functions with Commanding Light, Beacon of the Lightbringer, and Moment of Compassion. Hammer of Wrath's mana cost is now the same as Judgment. Hammer and Anvil healing is now increased by your mastery, but its base healing was reduced by 30%. Holy Light will see a 25% buff. Divine Resonance was added to the cooldown manager, and Divine Resonance now correctly activates from Holy Bulwark and Sacred Weapon.
I like the thought that Light of the Dawn is going to be capped, because I don't think that it should be too OP in raid. And I basically only run Mythic Plus. Healing increased by 10%. I was having a difficult time because I know a lot of the classes out there have like an instant heal when it's Resto Druid or like Holy Pally, things like that. But I was struggling, chat. I was struggling on a healer, and that's one thing that you don't need a he killy for, is why I kind of like the idea of going to healing, because you hit the buttons. You learn those kind of easier than I think it is the DPS now.
For Retribution, Flash of Light healing was increased by 85%, Word of Glory healing is up 100%, Haste now correctly reduces the global cooldown after Templar Strike or Templar Slash, and there are a couple of bug fixes as well. Priests are up next. For Discipline, Atonement will now heal for 45% of damage done, down from 50%. Searing Light was reduced to 20% of penance damage. Shadow Fiend Chance was increased to 100%, up from 40%. Twin Sight Penance no longer applies Atonement to allies. Holy Ray can no longer be chained between multiple penance casts. Shadow Mend healing was buffed by 45%. Borrowed Time and Harsh Discipline have swapped locations, and Borrowed Time was buffed up to 5 and 10% haste, up from 4 and 8%. And then Shadow has a few increases to their heals. Flash heal is up 70%, and Power Word Shield was buffed by 50%.
Dude, I'm telling you, since I just got done playing Shadow Priest right now before we watched this video, I have so many defensives that it is incredible. It's one of the things that when I was referring to the mage, that they lost a lot more of. They took away the reduction of damage when it goes in for invisibility. I don't like that whole alter time thing, man. That's a horrible design. I don't know who put that in the game.
For the rogues, Fate Bound saw a couple of changes. Fate Intertwined was nerfed for both Assassination and Outlaw, down to 5% for Assassination and down.
Not only that, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about alter time. Not only that, but why is there a time limit on it to hit it? Because it doesn't last that long. You go into a place, there's garbage all over the floor, insta death. You moved from there so you wouldn't die, and then alter time puts you right back in there. It's like instant death. It should be called that.
To 6% for Outlaw, and then for Assassination, Fate Bound coin damage was increased by 10%. For Assassination specifically, they'll see a 10% damage boost across the board, so that's going to be quite exciting when it comes through, though Caustic Spatter was nerfed to splash 15% of your nature damage to nearby enemies, down from 35%. And then for Outlaw, they'll see a 15% damage boost across the board for all abilities, which is always nice to see.
I think Outlaw has lost a lot of its flavor because it doesn't feel like a rogue spec. You know, if they want to try, that's one of the things that I always feel about when they're doing lore for the characters. Survivability is not a hunter. That shouldn't even be in the hunter class. And when you look at Outlaw, that shouldn't be a rogue. So maybe combine Outlaw and Survival Hunter and make them a thing. You know, a 2 spec class for right now. You can add something else later, and you know, that maybe throw Ranger in for Hunter to have the 3rd spec. And as far as Rogue, they used to have, if I remember correctly, they used to have Assassination, Combat, and was it still Subtlety? So I mean, just go back to that. The whole fitting of lore when it comes to classes, I think, is a thing that they shouldn't lose. You know, I don't know. For me, it kind of bothers me.
Flurry was knocked down to 25% of damage dealt. Menacing Rush increases Adrenaline Rush's damage bonus by 20%, up from 15%. Heightened Rush increases Adrenaline Rush's duration by 4 seconds, up from 3. The Midnight Season 1 2-set bonus was updated, and there's a bug fix for Precision Shots tooltip. Moving on to the Shamans, both Elemental and Enhancement will see a 130% buff for Healing Surge, a 50% buff to Healing Stream Totem, and Earth Shield healing was increased by 50% too. So no damage bonuses this week, but at least you'll be able to kick out some decent heals in a pinch.
Hold on, go back to that. One of the things I've been hearing a lot about recently, and I haven't covered yet, is Blizzard. There was a leak about Blizzard actually having... What other specs would you like to have for your classes? So there could be existing classes that only have 3, which is like almost all of them, and they're trying to maybe make them look more like Druid. So you might be having tank spec in Shaman. You know what I'm talking about? Things like that. You could have a tank when it comes to Warlock. People always used to meme on that Warlock were tanking. Are very tanky. So, I mean, I think that is something that might be coming sooner than later.
To be able to kick out some decent heals in a pinch. For the Warlocks, Affliction's Haunt duration was increased up to 18 seconds, and only 1 application of Haunt can be active at a time. Demonology has a quick bug fix, and Destruction's Apex talents have been updated. And then last but not least, we come to the Warriors. Colossus will see some updates to Demolish. Colossal Might now increases the damage of your next Demolish by 5% per stack, down from 10% per stack, but Demolish's baseline damage will be increased by 33%. The goal here is to make sure Demolish feels good to push, even if you're on low stacks of Colossal Might. For arms specifically, your Apex talents will give you a higher chance to upgrade your Slam to Heroic Strike. Heroic Strike reduces the cooldown of Colossus Smash by 2 seconds, down from 5. Master Tactician now increases...
They should have made the last Evoker spec, you know, like that big dragon can...
Tactician's chance to trigger by 5%, down from 10%, and Battle Lord now also reduces the rage cost of your next Heroic Strike.
Oh, they were testing it out in SOD, Season of Discovery? Really? For a healing mage and a tank warlock. Interesting.
By 33%. And then Fury's Season 1 4-set bonus was buffed slightly. That's it for this week's round of class changes, buffs, and nerfs, and now that you've had a little bit to play around with the Midnight class overhauls, most of these changes will actually start to make sense now. These specific updates are for the 12.01 Midnight launch patch, so we'll have to wait until March to see these adjustments come through to the live game. Now, in other news, there are a couple of updates coming for the new transmog system that was introduced in the Midnight pre-
How are you guys liking the new transmog system? Is it something that you're enjoying? Is it saving you any money? Do you think it's going to save you any gold?
Patch. To start with, you may have noticed that Legion artifact appearances have become a bit more strict with what they can be applied to. You can now only use an artifact transmog with a compatible weapon category now. That's something the dev team are aware of, and it seems to be due to the new system. So in the next update, 12.01, which will go live with the actual Midnight expansion launch, those restrictions should be lifted at least a bit more as the transmog system settles in and gets a few more updates. Something else to look forward to is a free transmog application. When the pre-patch went live, your gear was untransmogged as part of the swap over from gear-based transmog to slot-based transmog.
Easy, and I like it. I started a low-geared character, and every piece I add, I don't have to transmog it, so it saves me money in the end. There you go. There you go. That could be a benefit. And then you're not going to touch it until they fix it and you get all your shit. That's true. Yeah, save it, because I think that they're making those changes. Blizzard has talked about making those changes come reset, because we lost some gold. So they're going to try and give us a couple of free slots, I think. A free additional, because we already get 2.
That's all fine and dandy, but it does mean to get back to where you were before the patch, you'll have to spend some of your hard-earned gold. The dev team aren't totally happy with that, so they'll be giving everyone 1 free transmog to make up for that particular little snag.
There you go.
This free transmog was originally slated for the 12.01 update as well, but they're working on getting that delivered a little bit earlier via a hotfix, so stay tuned for that. It might also be worth holding off on setting up all of your transmog outfits. The dev team announced that they are going to lower all outfit creation prices by 50% to bring them more in line with the transmog prices from before pre-patch. So that's going to save you a whole bunch of gold if you want to set up multiple outfits to play around with the situations feature specifically. This cost reduction should go live very soon, so keep an eye on the hotfix blue post.
Okay, so it says this hotfix just went live, so enjoy your cheaper transmogging. So check it out, because they're saying it's already live. You don't have to wait until reset to have this happen. It's already live.
That's where you'll see when these new transmog prices go into effect. And then if the Trial of Style event is something you usually enjoy taking part in, it's worth noting the dev team have said that during that event we'll have a special Trial of Style outfit slot that can be worn inside and outside of the competition, and all transmog changes or updates made to that specific outfit slot are going to be completely free. Once the event ends...
Oh, I heard a stupid one about transmog. I forgot who it was. I forgot what character it is. Maybe you guys heard this too when you were trolling or looking around YouTube. But there is a certain race that when you're trying to transmog your character, you see how they have their underwear like this? That there were certain characters that had, I think it was the Void Elves. I think it was the Void Elves, and the complaint was that they didn't have the right underwear on. I'm like, what? It wasn't purple enough for them. They were wearing the Blood Elf underwear.
The outfit slot will be removed, so you don't have to worry about forking over a whole mountain of gold to change things around again and again when the Trial of Style event rolls into town. And then to round out this week's video, Wowhead has data mined some upcoming Lunar Festival themed rewards, including new mounts, transmog, toys, decor, and pets. Starting with the mounts, we have these very cool celestial horses. There's a golden one and a blue one, and both have some interesting lightning effects around them.
I want one in purple.
They kind of look like a horse with a dragon head and scales, and I think they look very interesting. There's also a new pet, the auspicious Pixiu, which is a golden Mr. Pandaria style dog lion thing. It's very shiny indeed. We have a new transmog ensemble to collect, the Scorching Conqueror set.
That looks
This looks
sweet.
Very cool with fiery themes throughout.
I like
the headpiece has burning feathers, there are crystals and stone teeth looking things on the shoulders, and a cracked lava visual.
I'm not always really keen on all the headsets that they have, so like that shit there could probably not be shown on your character, my character. But as far as the rest of the transmog, I think that's pretty sweet. I really do.
Through the chest, hands, and legs. It looks like this set will also have an eye effect tied to it, which is...
Show the torn boots? Yeah. It's just going to be hoofs, bro. Sorry, that's how you're getting.
Always a nice addition.
I want
There's
fire
a
feet.
matching polearm transmog.
Oh, look at
too.
that.
This
Look
looks
at that.
awesome and should fit any fire set or transmog quite well. It's
Let's
just
go.
a shame not all classes or specs tend to use polearms. That's the only weapon transmog we have to preview so far, but with these rewards being data mined, we could see some more weapons added in later on, which I definitely wouldn't complain about. I'd love to see a two-handed sword or a staff with this kind of visual. There are a few toys on offer as well. The Fortunes...
Oh, isn't that so cute? What is that? Is that a little kitten? Is that a little... What the fuck is that? Anybody? Any... It's got a tail. It's not a mouse. It's not a bunny. What is that? It's a Chinese... It's a cat. It's a cat? Okay.
Waving cat summons a fun little cat to follow
it
you
is a
around, I
cat.
guess. The Gilded Fountain toy summons a magic fountain that accepts a gold offering, though I doubt it gives you much in return.
What?
And then there are also...
You actually put gold in it? That's fucking funny. Hey, look. That's my trophy for getting the most alts to 3K in a single season. That's mine. They made that for me.
Some amazing dragon statue toys. The description here says that you can summon a spider...
Oh, the waving blessing cat. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
and other players can jump on. We've got a golden version, an azure version,
There's
and a jade
Teletubbies.
version. These look incredible, and I wish they were available
Oh,
as
look at that.
decor as well. I can imagine players doing some really cool things with them, either scaled up to create giant columns or pillars, or even scaled all the way down to create little table decor.
Yeah, they would just go on my table. Or you make a shrine, not a shrine, but you just put it on a little pedestal, and that's what you got. That's your trophy. Like I said.
I guess we'll have to wait and see how this one works, but I'll be honest, I'm going to be quite disappointed if we don't get these as decor options too. Then there's some housing decor to pick up as well, including
Look at that,
an
Braveheart.
aquarium, a
Braveheart, if you're still here, they got your fish tank, bro.
cradle, some pillow rolls, a privacy screen, an ornate vanity, teacups, teapots, tea trays, a tea set, and some plant decor. So we've got some very
All you guys that love your fucking housing, you're gonna be gone, man. You're not gonna have any vaults or anything because you're gonna be off searching for this stuff. If anyone would tell me where you get this bottom one here in the middle, that little TV tray that I could use when I'm playing my food and my tea in the bed. We got to come up with something like that. That one on the top, we might be able to make that into like a computer. If one of you guys, yeah. Anyways,
very cool new rewards to look forward to. I just hope they aren't all tied to the cash store in one way or another. With all of these rewards being data mined, we're not too sure where they're going to come from just yet. Some are marked as shop purchases, some are tied to
I hope that one's on the shop. I will totally buy that one.
promotions, and some just don't have any source noted yet. So we'll have to wait and see exactly where these new collectibles come from, but fingers crossed we can earn at least some of them in
My
game.
aquarium is busy.
But that's all.
Have you made an aquarium in your house? If you have, I want to see it. They have that shit in Final Fantasy. That shit is the tits. I love it.
All the updates we have so far, so that's it for this week's WoW news video. How do you feel about the midnight pre-patch from what you've played so far?
I want to
Are
see
there any
it
classes
as soon
or
as this
specs
video
that
is
are
over.
super fun, or just absolutely terrible with all the updates in play? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on
Let's
Patreon.
give it up for
and all of
Kalani,
our
everybody.
members here on
Fantastic
YouTube.
video.
You can see the names floating by.
Fantastic video. This guy always does amazing stuff. Good information to have. Good information to have. I also want to make sure that you guys understand one thing. Until Blizzard listens to all of your feedback, I hope you're sending in a lot of tickets and suggestions so that they bring back a form of He Kelly, still using the in-game, I just need it to be a bar. That's all I need it to be. I just need it to be a bar. It doesn't need to be He Kelly, but I need to see the stuff that I'm going to hit because I don't want to look at my action bars. Unless somebody has something like that, let me know. Let me know. That's fantastic stuff. Outstanding.